look okay? I can't see.
Looks great. Good evening, social media friends.
Hi.
Hello. In an effort to have a more healthy relationship with social media, I'm limiting my time on it. Therefore, when I do invest time into it, I want it to be repeatable and accessible and all of those things, to where it's not me saying here this, but I could say, hey, here's a resource. And so I would love for this to be a resource. And I think that there are better resources than this, but I consistently get asked a lot of these questions, and so I thought it would be good to cover some basics of lighting. I think that I'm in a sweet spot where we're close enough to being beginners that like maybe we can translate it a little better. Like we don't know the jargon well enough now to like have that disconnect. But either way, I hope this information's helpful. I hope it answers a lot of questions, and I hope that it might even be funny. Like, pizza's done. Got our Fuji over here because we're sophisticated, in the Canon because we're practical. We're humans. I'm gonna answer these in the order that I feel like I get asked. And the first one is, what lights do we use? The genesis of that was, I was a couple months into photography, and we were mostly shooting in our bedroom. And it did not have great light, and it was very, very, very frustrating. And I was like, I don't understand. I'm probably not very good at this photography thing. I had done a little reading on flashes. I knew that I did not like the flash on my camera, which we'll talk about. But then I kept seeing the acronym OCF, OCF, OFC, no, OCF, off-camera flash. And I was like, okay, it seems like there's some magic to the images that I see using off-camera flash. And I looked on Amazon, I looked a bunch of different places. I almost bought a Canon flash, and I'm really glad that I didn't. That's just my opinion, but I ended up with a godox from Amazon because I got an Amazon credit card and they let me pay it off because if you don't know, I'm a musician for a living, so bask in that horror. I say that to say that I know a lot of photographers that are really good photographers, but they're also like doctors and lawyers, and it's like a fun weekend side hustle. And mad respect, I think that it's almost like it's kind of cool because then you don't have to lean into your art to pay your bills, and I think there's a certain kind of freedom to that. But I'm not that person, and so I have to be very, what would that be? I like to get good deals. I've been a musician all my life, and I've played nicer guitars than I deserve because I got good at one thing, and that is getting good deals.
Thrift shopping.
Yes, and so regardless of what it is, my advice is always don't buy new. If you have a budget and you are very concerned about how expensive this hobby is getting, don't buy new. Let someone else take that hit. It's not something I celebrate, but there's always somebody getting a divorce, and there's always somebody dying. There's always somebody saying, this is not the hobby for me, and photography wasn't relatively expensive for them, and so letting their equipment go for, pennies on the dollar isn't a big deal. Like, they just want it out of their house. Facebook Marketplace is awesome. I've gotten some insane deals, just for instance, as we go down this light road, but like 90% of my kit I would not have been able to afford had it not been for one deal on Facebook Marketplace. You've got to set alarms for keywords, set alarms for Spanish words, whatever the country next to your country is, set alarms in that tongue, so you can get good deals in any language. A good deal is a good deal. Those have been really, really good tips for me. So the first one, though, that I did not buy used because I really didn't know what to look for, was this. It is the Godox V1. This has been everywhere. It's been in lakes. One time I vacuum sealed it and used it as a flash in a lake, and it worked. And it also leaked and got very, very wet, and this screen was completely waterlogged, and I took the battery out and I let it sit for a few days, and it is still as good as the day that I got it. I can't speak highly enough of Godox products. This on the camera is effective. It does not rock my artistic world because when you put your flash on and you point it at what your lens is pointed at on axis, it's very flat and it's very not flattering. I've seen people make it work. Most of the time it looks like you're like in a 90s party music video, which isn't always the most flattering of things, but we'll use these at weddings a lot. Point them up, use the ceiling as a bounce card, and it lights up the room, and it works. I detest having it on the camera for 2 reasons.
The balance for me.
Yes, the balance. It feels so funky, like it's gonna break my wrist. I don't like that. I don't like the way it looks, and I know it's not about looks. And really, I feel like it makes your camera really vulnerable. That's just a lot of torque right there. And I don't know. I don't like having that much weight or that much counterbalance on my camera. So the real magic for me happened when I took this off. And I was like, I want to fire this from this angle at that. And that is when you get this. And this feels much better riding on top of your camera. It feels a lot more natural. And this is a trigger. I'm not going to get into the particulars, but this, the camera talks to this talks to this. And then when you get everything lined up, you get this magic. That's true. We'll edit that out. You can hide these in You can hide these in closets and scare your kids really bad. Just, you know, nightmare effects. So getting this off of your camera is very, 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 very helpful. So this is the first one that I bought. So I got into the godox family of lights, right? And I think that's where a lot of the disconnect is if you have a Canon trigger, I don't know the particulars because I have never owned a Canon trigger, but I assume it doesn't talk to godox because how would we make money then if there was a universal language? Come on, Ubuntu. So godox talks to godox. The triggers are brand specific to your camera. Ask me how I know that. Thanks Amazon for your decent return policy. So to refresh, godox will talk to godox. You have to make sure you get the trigger that talks to your camera. Now that I have 2 systems, I run into a couple issues where I brought the trigger for the Fuji and the Canon, and so there's all kinds of things to work through. It gets really dense after a while. So got into the godox family. Then, dude on Marketplace, getting rid of a ton of lights. And I got in at the last minute, and I got 2 of these. And they are the godox 8200, but if you'll notice, this is the flashpoint 8200, and this was my introduction to flashpoint. Flashpoint, it's nothing but, it's the same brand as godox, just labeled differently. It's like Adorama's house brand, exactly the same. The difference being, if I want to warranty something with godox, I've likely got to turn it back to whatever third-party distributor I've got it from on Amazon. And then, like, who knows what that chain of command looks like. The first time I bought a used, and I'm not going to hold Adorama to this, but I bought a used 8200. It had an issue. They warranted it for me with no receipt. And that immediately, I was like, okay, I will buy flashpoint from this point on, because here's what I will tell you. You can take really good care of your lights, but if you're anything like me, your lights are going to go in some very adventurous places, and no matter how much you take care of them, they'll get dropped. This one is missing a few pieces. A few of these other ones, they constantly have dirt on them. They're getting put somewhere that you don't want to be, but you're willing to put a light. And so I can't speak more highly of flashpoint. If you're going to buy new, I would buy flashpoint. If you're going to buy used, it's kind of a wash. I would probably still buy flashpoint if the prices were the same. Okay, the 8200. If I could only have one light, this would be it. It has a lot of power. I've had really good luck shooting with one, even directly into the sun. You have to be smart with your softbox placement, but it's doable. If you have a more powerful light, it makes a freaking awesome backlight or hair light. It's just really versatile. It's almost the same size. That's a stretch. With the Fresnel lens, this is almost the same size. Sizing it up. And super powerful, super, super handy piece of kit. 2 of these would be an amazing kit. You could put it together all kinds of ways. So these are what I started with. Then I was fortunate or unfortunate enough to be the recipient of like a pretty decent fire sale on Facebook. And I say this because the guy knew that it was a deal and was willing to give it to a new photographer whose work he liked. I think that's really powerful two ways in that I'm sure that uploading pictures all the time can be annoying to some people, whatever. I'm here to learn. I'm here to be inspired and to inspire. But when you put your work out there and you're sincere about it, like the universe responds. And I truly believe that if I wasn't authentic in posting and putting my work out and asking for feedback and giving feedback, that deals like that don't come around. But like, he clearly knew what he had. He was a working photographer. He clearly knew what I had and what I needed. And like, it was a deal beyond all deals. But I walked away with two 8600s. These are flashpoint as well.
Oh yeah, those are good.
This was I got two of these, a trigger, modifiers, light stands, two Canon Rs, and a couple of other things that like I used daily for less than the price of one of those cameras. And all I did was immediately sell one of the cameras and break even. And then I had a complete light kit. And I was like, thanks, universe. That's freaking awesome. So this, in my daily kit now, it's one of these and one of these. The 8600, I didn't pay retail. I don't know what that feels like in my heart because I know that it would hurt. But if you can afford it, oh my gosh, it is a workhorse. We did a volleyball team a few months ago, like 30 girls, I would say 30 shots a piece. You know, F5, F7.1, like using some power on these. And I bought the AC adapter because I was afraid that we were gonna go through the batteries really fast, and we didn't go through a notch on any of these. And at this point, between the Facebook deals and marketplace deals, those are the same thing, Facebook and Craigslist. I've got three 8600s, incredible deals. There's deals to be had out there, y'all. Be nice to people, I think, and like be helpful, and they'll come through for you. So this is awesome. The last good deal I got was the 8400. To be honest with you, I would not get this. I would not get this. Let's break the camera for the sake of the lights, because, okay, there's an 8600, there's an 8400, and man, the battery on the 8400 is not my favorite. It is handy, it's powerful. I wish the battery was a little better because the 8600 will go. We went to New Mexico for a week and used it every day and still came home with battery. It's just like it's been really good. So, to recount, with these in front, you could do so much with a pair of these. You could do so much with one of these and a white bounce card. You could do a whole lot with one of these, even more with two of these. And then 8600, if you've got a pair, it's nice. Honestly, I don't bring pairs unless it's a giant wedding because it's just a lot and it's heavy and it's expensive, and I don't like having that much gear out there. But put this puppy in we have like an 8-foot umbrella, and you can change a room like that. We shot like a 24-person party and just put this up high and pointed it down like the sun in an umbrella, and it's nuts. It's really, really cool. So you need one of these, and then the minutia that I feel like doesn't get talked about a lot, but when you're adding stuff to your Amazon cart and it gets to your house and you're like, I finally get to shoot, and then you realize that this one screw, I need one screw. I would love to save that problem for you. So let's start with the most simple. Let's say you get this light on Amazon, awesome light. It will grow with you. That's what I appreciate about lights. You can always use it. We don't want to put baby in a corner, and we don't want to put this on our camera, so we need to put this in something. So, for me, in the godox flashpoint system, I like this S bracket. What this S bracket does It makes me yawn.
Talking? Mm-hmm. You do that to me too.
So this clamps in here. Then this goes on your light stand, which my video framing is not set up to show you. But just imagine like a little microphone stand, but this goes on it. So if I fired this at Steph, she would still look beautiful, but the light would be very harsh because there's nothing between this and her skins to disperse the light, right? Mm-hmm. So what does our inverse law say that we'll skip that. Anyway, light directly off a flash tends to be harsh. You can use it to some effect. I like to soften it because I'm 41 and my skin needs all the favors it can use. So we need to soften the light. The first softbox that I would buy, if I were you, just because this was the first softbox that I bought, check it out. It's been up 14,000 feet mountains in a backpack. It's exploded things coming out of its little folder thing. Anyway, this folds down ridiculously small. I may as well do it.
You can also tear it.
Okay, pretend that I know how to fold this up because I have done it before, but it folds up very small. You can hike with it in your backpack, which I've done numerous times and never had this issue.
Not shaped like that.
Not shaped like an origami. It folds into like there's other frustrating things to fold. Then, magically, folds like this. Comes out. Opens up. And check it. 2 layers of diffusion. And it comes with a grid, which we'll talk about another time. But then it snaps on my bracket, which sounds fancy. Then I put this on my light stand. And this is the least professional lighting video because I'm getting in the way of my own lighting, showing you this lighting.
Sorry. Start over right there.
Okay. I didn't know we were going full goose. You said what? Anyway, so then you've got this. This probably weighs, according to my man muscles, 2.5-ish pounds. And then you got a light stand that probably weighs 1 pound. So that is an incredibly small piece of kit to have to really set you apart from other photographers in your area, to really set your art apart if you're just in this for the art. There's never been a time where I've regretted bringing a flash. It's always come in handy. I have a flash and I have an LED wand, and I'll likely talk about the LED wands too because they're very handy. However, just wanted to give you the rundown of what I use, how to get a good deal, a really, really good first basic kit, and then I think that was it. But we'll talk about light stands in the future. We'll talk about how good Steph is at diving into water to save lights that are going into the water. We'll talk about what to do if your light falls in the water. And hot tip, get the battery out immediately. ASAP. And also, never, ever, ever carry your light like this because I probably won't make this back to the case without breaking the bulb, and they are about $100. So, be smart. Let me know if you have any other questions. Thanks for dealing with the white balance on this video. I'm learning, and hopefully it was helpful. Thanks, Steph, for hanging out.